Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today with you and getting into my budget. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. I have had several new subscribers. I think over 60 new subscribers, and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and boosting my algorithm. I do appreciate that. I would love to help as many people as possible and just kind of share how I budget. We're wrapping up the year in December of 2023 here, and I am in Paycheck 2. I do have one more paycheck at the end of the year, but this is mainly what we're going to be working with for the next 2 weeks. And then on the 29th, I think, there's like a 3 days of a paycheck. And then I will do my closeout budget at the same time. So that's just kind of how that's going to work. And yeah, I'm excited for Christmas and New Year's and all the fun things bringing us into the new year. I am sad to see the year go, but I am happy that we're still moving forward into the new year. So there we go. So I've already kind of gone behind the scenes and tracked a lot of this. So hopefully this will go pretty smooth. I did have to make a little bit of an adjustment off camera. Some of this, I don't know where I messed up on some of my numbers, but I did have to do like a 3 penny adjustment based on my bank account. And I want to make sure the bank account when I closed out Paycheck 1 was exact to Paycheck 2. So I've done that, and that was just a 3 penny thing. Not sure. I don't want to find it. That'll take too long. Not worth my effort. So I just threw the 3 pennies up there. But the rest of it we will go over. So closing out Paycheck 1 and will help me set up Paycheck 2. This is how I go paycheck to paycheck. If you don't close out one, then you don't know what money's still left in the bank after the paycheck is over, which is what I call my buffer, the checking account. I don't plan for a buffer. I just leave anything extra that's sitting in there, call it buffer, and then so it has a name and it has a job. And if I need to use the money, then I do. And I did this month. You're going to see I used a lot of it. So we had a pretty sizable estimated buffer, which is why it's on a sticky note, $1,862.17. And that's pretty much gone. Not all of it. I mean, I still have money to move over, but a lot of this is gone. So let's go ahead and get into the numbers here. Starting with Paycheck 1, I'm going to bring my calculator in, try to get it in a position. And I have to leave my notebook flat because it's so thick with all these stickers I have in here. I cannot have it just one side only because it bows really bad and it's kind of horrible. So yeah, it's kind of making me rethink next year. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I know I won't be able to afford to purchase stickers, but I'll probably be making a lot of my own, and I may do something totally different. So that is what I'm doing there. So let's go ahead and total that. We had military retirement. The only deviations from the planned was, and I discussed this in one of my other videos, I went through my husband's paycheck and pay stub and found where the discrepancy was, where he was paying more into something. And it was a long-term disability insurance that he's required to have, that the company pulls out of their paycheck and pays. And it went up $1.75 or something like that. So that's why there's a difference in what I thought it was going to be. And this is kind of what it was all year and where it is now. And this is the new salary. Now this salary will end probably at Paycheck 3, and then we may get some straggling income from this company going into the new year a little bit, but I won't talk about those until we have them. Going into January 1st, these military retirement, VA disability, rent, and all that stuff will still happen. It will be a little bit of increase in all of those for cost of living adjustment for the new year. So that would fluctuate a little bit. And then salary is actually going to be savings. And I'm just going to, unless my husband has a job that's already paying him, because he just recently quit his job, which is a good thing. We are excited about it. It was a toxic environment. We don't want to be there, and it wasn't worth the money. Even though we were making really good money for the area we live in, it was not worth staying. toxicity in workplace, at home, things like that. We are trying to purge all of that out of our lives, and we're stepping out with God in this, and hopefully getting the job that my husband really has on his heart, his heart's desire, and we're walking it out with God. So more than likely that won't say salary, that'll be savings, and we will bring it in and have just what we need to cover all the expenses for the month. So we'll see how I do next. January's up in the air. I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see how those paychecks roll out, or how I divide it up, or if I keep doing it this way, or I have no idea what I'm doing. So we'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these numbers totaled, and I will be right back. Okay, so there was money that was transferred from what I called tithing savings. When we first moved, and if you don't know, we moved from Virginia to Kentucky. We lived on the coast and retired from the Navy, and now we're in Kentucky, where my husband's from. And when we did, there were a few months he was still getting paid, and we always tithe all of our income that comes in. And when we do that, when we were doing that and we didn't have a church yet, I was just putting it into a savings account, and I just called it tithing savings. So there we go. So I have this little thing here. It's a note. It says tithing savings, and I took all of it almost, and some of the dividends that were earned on it. I still have $55.75 there, but I took most of it, and we made a donation to Greater Europe Mission, and we call it a gift to Christ. It's something we did at our previous church. We're not doing what they're doing, but we kind of are doing our own thing on this. And we get a newsletter from our favorite missionaries, and we support them. Without our income, without us donating to them, they have no income to pay their bills and stuff, because they're in the mission field and they don't work for an organization. We raise money to support them to do what they're doing. And so we just said, hey, they need this. They have this, I think, a tax thing that they have to do where they're at. And I'm like, we have it. We can do that. We can do part of it, not all of it. And so we've been wanting to give that, and we prayed about it, and that's what we did, is we gave what they needed, and we paid the fee. We paid, I think, $39 fee and $1,300 for the gift, and that hopefully will help take care of that need that they were looking to take care of. So I transferred from savings, put it into the income section, and then I took it back out. I just want to make sure I had a note about that, and that's where that income came from. So we have $8,776.38. There we go. And that is what we're working with. This one, God's Outreach, I'm swapping a different God's Pantry and God's Outreach, because this is more local to my community than this. This is more a blanketed several communities, which is awesome and I absolutely love. But I felt this call with my husband. We're like, no, we want to do the one here really close to us. I'm like, okay, so I was going to switch it out, and I think it switches in January. I got to figure that one out, so we'll see. So what I did here was put a 0, mark it X, because it didn't happen this month, and it's going to happen hopefully next month. I have to go figure that out. And then this is what our actual totals for fixed expenses. All these are all set on auto pay except for water. That's why I have it over here. I didn't know this number yet when I filled this paycheck one out. But these are pretty much fixed, and I know ahead of time usually if they're going to change. This is just one of those rare occasions didn't happen. So I made the adjustments here. And then this is what I planned for my variable expenses. And then I added Greater Europe Mission, and then I forgot to put Dr. Odell in here, even though he's a normal bill. I just forgot to put him in here. And that's okay. I just put it over here, and if you're adding something to your variable, just put a 0 here and then do the actual, and that will definitely keep the budget running sufficiently. Now, thank you to whoever used my HP Instant Ink link to start their own HP Instant Ink. when you did that, I got a free month. So this month I didn't have to pay my $6.35, and so that was adjusted. I put it over here just in case it did. It was not, I didn't read the email right. I was just nervous that maybe I was going to get charged or something, so I did put it over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add into this area here what I actually spent on groceries and all these variable categories here that come with my weekly check-in. And the way I figure it out is I have, I can add my grocery household, what I spent here, and it gives me the number I need right here. I already have it written down on a list. That way we don't have to sit here and try to fumble through this. So I'm going to write that down and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all the things written down. Now I can total it up and come up with the actual number that we actually spent. If you did not watch my weekly check-in though, we had a lot of unbudgeted. One was personal for me. I'm like spending on myself. I cannot give up the sticker thing while we still have the disposable income. So I bought stickers from Sara Marie, which is where I get these stickers from. Sara Marie stickers, and but I bought them for other planners, not this, not a planner like this. They weren't budgeting stickers; they were weekly planning kits. If you know, you know. So if I turn back here real quick, and if you haven't seen the weekly check-in, they were Sara Marie stickers, 130.76, and then my oven decided it's not going to work much anymore. It's not going to bake, or the oven part, not the range, but the oven part. And it wasn't cooking correctly, and temperatures, and it was just either burning in one section or undercooked in another. And I'm like, how does this happen? So I'm like, my husband and I talked about it. We're pretty sure the appliance is over 20 years old, and because every appliance in this house when we bought it last year was over 20 years old. And so we thought, you know, let's start fresh. We'll just buy a new one while we still can. And I was able to buy it out of the buffer of the checking account because we had so much disposable income sitting there already, which was really nice. So $918.12 was the other part of that unbudgeted. And that also includes this game I bought my son for his birthday, and then our friends that we left in Virginia. They're girls. We bought their girls gifts. We don't buy everybody gifts, but we buy gifts for the little ones that we are totally in love with, and so and our grown children. And so that is all the unbudgeted expenses I have here. So let's come back to this. Okay, so we're going to total all of this up, and I will be right back. Okay, so we spent in the first paycheck of December $4,363.56 for our variable spending. So if I add these two numbers up, let me find a sticky note here. So if I take the $8,776.38 and subtract out the $3,862.53. Sorry, it's very sloppy. And subtract out the $4,363.56. A lot of numbers here, a lot of large numbers. Just want to make sure I get everything right for the balance forward, and I want to make sure it actually checks with what was sitting in the checking account the night before Paycheck 2 was deposited and processed. So that's what we're doing. And I've already done it once off camera. That's why I knew to do the 3 cents adjustment. But now that I'm on camera, I just want to make sure I still have the numbers right. So here we go. Okay, so we have left over $550.29. That is the balance forward I'm going to have from Paycheck 1 to Paycheck 2. So I'm going to write that here. Okay, there you go. So that's closed out. Now that I have the actual income that was still left over from Paycheck 1, which, praise God, there was income left over, and it was a good amount, $550. That's nothing to sneeze at. So I'm really happy with that. I balanced it forward. I don't balance forward month to month, but I do balance forward paycheck to paycheck until the end of the month. And when I hit paycheck 3, whatever's left over goes into a savings goal. So there is that. So now I need to take this balance forward and put it over here, $550.29. I did check my bank account. That is the amount that was sitting in there, and we are good to go. $550.29 is the actual. And my husband, today is payday, so my husband already got paid. And I'm going to get my notes on that. Okay, so Paycheck 2's salary. We have an adjustment here for $2,550.62. So for those of you that do paycheck, not paycheck, but monthly budgeting, I would have to make an adjustment here as I go. And I check things off as I go. So if you monthly budget, I just come back and check off. But I like the paycheck to paycheck because then I can balance the actual money that I need to go from paycheck to paycheck and make sure all the bills, the nitty gritty, that we have exactly enough in each category here for variable spending. That's what you're protecting when you are doing your income and you're taking out your fixed expenses. Basically all you have left is your variable spending, and once you have that figured out, then you can only focus on, for the next 2 weeks, this, and just check these off as they go because you've already protected what needs to come out of the checking account for these items. So the first thing I've already got this listed. I guess I can go ahead and do the total here real quick. So $550.29 plus the $2,550.62. That gives me $3,100.91. I do not plan for any other money. If I transfer income or money from a savings account into our checking account, or if we have a refund, or if we have something that happens and I can put money in there, my parents mail a check or whatever and they want it, and I'm buying things for my sons or whatever, I can put that in there. So that is what that is for. But for the most part, I don't plan for it. Writing and talking at the same time is hard. Okay, so the next thing I have is my Roth IRA. This is the second to last one. So it's $172. Now, originally I was saving for $6,500, and I will show you a tracker that I use, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's something I printed off of Canva myself, and I always color this in off camera. I don't really color it in as with you guys online, but I've already transferred $500 extra. It's just not on this tracker, but this is $6,500, and I only have 2 nest eggs to actually to fill in to achieve this goal right here. So the last 2 nest eggs, as it says here at the top, is $172. This was based off my husband's current pay schedule. Next, in 2024, I will not be saving up for the next year, which is what I've been doing here because my 2023 is already fully funded. This is for 2024. So they did change it from $6,500 to $7,000. So if you are contributing to your Roth IRA, basically divide it by the number of paychecks if you want to do it per paycheck. And that is how you would be saving up for your Roth IRA. And I'm just going to color this in. Now the printer I use, it bleeds a little bit sometimes, and that's okay. There we go. 1 left, and it would do that December 29th, so that's kind of fun. I really do enjoy doing these trackers. I just don't film them. And I only have the 1 tracker, so it's just kind of, okay, that's it. So Roth IRA, I've actually already transferred the funds after the deposit, so no problem there. The next thing I have is AT&T. That is $282. There goes my son again. 82. Google.com. My husband got a subscription. Is it a subscription? I don't know. He needed storage for photos. So he uses Google, he uses Android, I use iPhone. There's always one in every family. Everything's Apple products except for my husband's stuff. So, and that's fine. If it makes him happy, that's fine. And I don't want him throwing technology across the room because he's frustrated with it. So we have him stay that way. So he wanted Google storage. We're on a lower monthly for 3 months. So we have it in November, December, and January, $7.49. I think that's what it was, 3 months. And then February is our first charge for our annual. When you pay for it annually, then this will switch to what I do is sinking funds. And so next year we'll have Google storage. And I'm actually fully funding next year. I think it's $99.99 for an entire year. I just put $100. I'm going to fully fund it for next year so I don't have to save it up. And then when 2025 comes around, I'll start saving it up more. So once that hits out in February, then I'll start the little smaller increment amounts for sinking funds. That works really well for us. Tithing for right now is $256. It's 10% of the income. Life insurance. This is mine and 3 members of my family. That is $87.56. Term life insurance for several years now. We've had that. Discovery Plus, $121. Wait a minute, that's not it. Let's look at that wrong thing. That's my electric bill. Discovery Plus did not go up that much a month. That's $8.99. And then electric is $121.34. That is the heat and air conditioning unit that we have. I do have a fireplace, so in the mornings or evenings, if it's really cool, I heat up the house with that, and the heater doesn't come on nearly as much. So there's that. USCCA is my husband's, and that is $39.17. Vivint is our home security system, so that's $65.87. Apple.com is $2.99. Whoop. Cannot stay in the lines. There we go. And then my son's life insurance. Now he pays us rent, and out of his rent we pay utilities, groceries, and the rest of his needs. He actually keeps $140 of it though. That's $33.16. And this is my life insurance for him. He does not own the life insurance policy, is what I have for him. So the budgeted amount, and that's our fixed expenses. So the budgeted amount for our grocery household, and the way I calculate that is I have, oops, I'm moving things, what I have for the week, for each week, and I'm doing week 3 and week 4. And week 3 starts right here, and right here is week 3 balances, what I have available, and then I add what I already had planned for week 4. Since week 3, a lot of this was over budget, the amounts dropped, so I'm trying to keep it within budget now. Let's see here. I have budgeted or planned $743.26. And then $157.41 for restaurants. That, my father-in-law's in town this weekend, so that's I'll probably use all of that and then some. So that makes anything left over unbudgeted will cover a lot of the restaurants. So there we go. Just thinking things through out loud. $176.56 is the miscellaneous. And then gasoline, I have $151.54, and let's see here, $68.36 for copays. And then unbudgeted is going to be 0. All right, so let's total up the fixed expenses and the variable expenses, and we will figure this out. Okay, so for the fixed expenses, I have $1,077.39. Now let's go over here to variable. Okay, so over here on my variable expenses, I have $1,297.13. So that works that way. So now I'm going to take those numbers and figure out my estimate. I need a sticky note. Okay, so I always use a sticky note before I, as the estimated budget, what's in the buffer of the checking account. That way, when it's time for the actual, I just put it on the sticker. I just feel it's one way to use up all these sticky notes I bought in the past that I haven't used much of and need to use. I didn't write this down. 2555062. Okay. All right, so we're going to take the estimated income, which was $3,191, minus the $1,077.39 and minus the $1,297.13. There we go. I have, okay, so I just found an error from my notes. I'm going to double check. Yeah, 6582, and for whatever reason, I'm doing this a lot lately. I think this is where those lost pennies come from. This is 82. So I need to change this to 34. There we go. Okay. I do apologize if I confused you. Basically, I had to change my Vivint because it's $65.82 every month. And then that changed that to 34 cents. So let's try the numbers one more time. Even I mess up time. Okay, so let's get the right income minus the fixed and variable expenses. Okay, so this is the number. Woo, I scared myself there for a second. $726.44. This is what I call the buffer of the checking account. So if I spend more in these variable expenses outside of what I've already budgeted, this is where it comes from first, unless we make a strong decision that we need to take it out of the savings account, then, or if a sinking fund is paying for something. Those are two totally different things. If this is just a random thing that we want to purchase, more gifts, more experiences, things like that, then this is where the money's coming from. So, but I'd like to have money at the end of the month. The Paycheck 3 that's coming up, there are no bills attached except for sinking funds. So this is my Paycheck 2 setup. We are done with Paychecks to Paycheck. Now we just got to let the next 2 weeks roll by while I check off everything when it happens. And I track everything here in my weekly check-in and then come up with the final numbers at the end of the month when Paycheck 3 happens. So Paycheck 3 budget, when I close out Paycheck 2 and go to Paycheck 3 this month, this is a magic month. This is an extra paycheck. It doesn't really go anything, and I just applied things to it. If my husband wants a little extra money out of it for his personal money, then that will come out there. I do have that one last Roth IRA savings to transfer, and then we're going to tithe the income of that last paycheck. I decided to take sinking funds out of here because I'm adding more to the sinking funds, and I wanted to fully fund something. The Google for that comes out in February, I wanted it fully funded. And then MMA is money market account, and that's supposed to be emergency fund, EF. And that whatever is left over in Paycheck 3, this is going to be actual savings. I'll put the number here, but it'll be the same number here. So we're going to have 0 left over at the end of December. And I have to have this set up because usually, like my husband gets paid on the 1st of every month. with his government checks and my son's government check, the first will follow on a Monday, and when anything happens government-wise on a Monday and holidays, they move the money and he'll actually get it on the 29th for January's money. So I have to be diligent and separate all of this money to make sure all the goals are taken care of properly. And this is why you budget. This is why you lay it out on a month and figure it out, whether you budget monthly and just track weekly, or whether you budget paycheck to paycheck. I love the paycheck to paycheck method. It gives me more detail and I see a lot more and I can make more adjustments as I go along. But not everybody likes that budgeting style, and that's okay. I did have a scripture for this month. If you're looking for something to stand on and that's inspirational, I'm using Numbers 6:24 through 26. I don't normally give my scripture of the month, but I felt like right now maybe this is important for somebody. So may the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. And I thought that was a good verse for the month of December, especially as my family and I are transitioning into no income and living off savings until a new job presents itself. So yeah, I really need to make sure that that I pay very close attention to the budget and enjoy it for now, but at the same time have enough going forward. And we have about 15 months going forward if we really tighten in everything over the next few months. So I think we'll be okay. And surely my husband will find a job by then. That's not a problem. So, but that is the paycheck to paycheck budget. That is how I close out one and I set up another. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.